different forms of cultural heritage. You know, just think of matatus. What cultural heritage can you see here? Is it manifested today or is it like still in the past?
I'm a digital heritage specialist, a history enthusiast, a cultural heritage lover. Looking at the difference between 2D data. So here we have an image and then we have like a 3D digitization of a different object, but showing 3D digitization in the way that you can rotate and interact with objects. In my work, I look at interaction between technology and culture. I really delve deeper to ask some critical questions. Try to capture as many angles of an object. For instance, when we look at technology and culture, we always think digitization. But there's some critical questions like who is going to access the digitized data? How are we going to share it? Who's going to curate it?
Cultural heritage is anything that anyone values, and that can include your culture, which is a part of your life or a way of your life.
Our biggest resource as Kenyans, as Africans, is the people. And once we have the skills, then you're equipping one extra person to do the job of documentation or presenting and talking about culture.
Something you mentioned about ethnicity representation.
So skills are such an integral part of our advancement in cultural heritage and our place in cultural heritage. And I believe in that same way that it's not just institutions that need the skills, it's also audiences. So how do we equip both of them to complement each other? I come from a family that's extremely proud of culture and history, so this formed a huge part of how I felt about myself at an early stage. But when it came time to go to university, I wanted to do history. People said, you can't waste your grades on something that doesn't pay. So I ended up doing computer science, which I actually still loved. I did a master's in heritage visualization, so sort of combining my passion and my profession to work here today. The first step is always look at your photos with your naked eye and just see if there are any photos that are out of place. So the next step is to start your software. So when I was doing my blog and when I was doing my projects, I really didn't have anyone to advise me on how to do this or how to capture this and how to look at certain things. And I always thought to myself, if I'm ever in a position to help someone else who wants to work in culture and doesn't know where to start, then I'll definitely do it. For me, the dream is to have spaces that work for us, that it's not difficult to access certain spaces or to speak of certain histories because they have been suppressed or because there's no money. So 76 is quite a small number. Usually you need 100 photos in. As a young African woman, I've always had a complex relationship with my history in the sense that in the way it has been taught, in the way it has been shared in media, in the way it's been perceived. Our history has been shown as inferior or primitive, you know, and all the characterizations that we're used to. I think it's really important that we take back that ownership and say the story that is ours in our own way. I'm just trying to say that, you know, cultural heritage is expansive. I'll give you tasks and then we'll work through them together. To me, culture is how I see the world. It's the lens through which I see myself, it's the lens through which I see my work, it's the lens through which I navigate the world, and it forms every part of who I am and what I do, and it's a very important part of who we are as Kenyans, as Africans, to be able to see ourselves in a certain light that we have defined.